for your daily dose of creator controversy news, we have Mia Khalifa making headlines right now. Right, and that because she's facing a ton of backlash for comments that she made about the US military and veterans. With her posting a video this week captioned public service announcement and saying,
"Good morning to everybody who is not in the US military. Good morning to everybody who is sitting at home and not on soil that doesn't belong to them, fighting a war for a country that doesn't care about them. I hope you go over there and get your little brain all scrambled up with PTSD and then come back here and see how much the United States cares about you, Pookie. See how much they care about you when you come back with, oh, I'm so sad. I piss my pants every time I see a falafel stand in Manhattan. Let's see how much the VA cares about you. Let's see what they tell you to do with your little broken brain from going over to fight a war that's not yours."
They're then adding that they would just tell these people to do breathing exercises because the government does not care about people who are back and no longer able to die for them. And so unsurprisingly, a lot of different people had a lot of different thoughts. Right, people writing things like wishing PTSD on people is never okay. Making fun of people with PTSD is never okay. Others saying Mia Khalifa's family fled the Middle East because of an ongoing war when she was a child and she grew up in Maryland with the safety and stability afforded to all Americans by the US military. And adding this is what she thinks of the US military members. Though that is a criticism that she's pushed back against, saying, "I didn't move to America to invade it, I moved to evade the US-made bombs Israel kept dropping on our heads." Tons of other people also noting that her comments are very, very similar to what Frogan recently said that got her into controversy, which is also why you had some looking at Mia's video and wondering if Twitch will ban her as well. Though this also is on the other side, you have people thinking that even though she is getting a ton of criticism, there was truth to what she was saying, arguing, nah, she is right about the US barely giving a fuck about veterans. Every homeless person I see was in the military. It's for real sad. Political commentators like Hassan Piker even writing, "She ain't wrong. America does not give a shit about its veterans unless they want to talk about immigrants and they love remembering there are homeless vets." And whether people agree with or disagree with Mia's comments or her delivery of them, this conversation does highlight that veterans do face a ton of unique struggles when coming back home. I mean, according to the American Psychological Association, vets have a higher risk for suicide than the general population. In 2021, over 6,000 veterans died by suicide, and that's over 17 per day. I mean, since 2010, 71,000 vets have died by suicide. And earlier this year, we also learned that there was an increase of veteran homelessness, with a study from the Department of Housing and Urban Development finding that on a single night in January of 2023, over 35,000 veterans experienced homelessness. That's an over 7% jump from 2022. Though, I will say, while that year-to-year jump is troubling, homelessness in this population is decreasing overall, going down over 50% since 2010. And this recent spike's likely tied to late-stage COVID-19 effects as the pandemic impacted homelessness in general, not just among vets. But also, as far as why this is such a major veterans issue, you had the National Alliance to End Homelessness explaining, research indicates that those who served in the late Vietnam and post-Vietnam eras are at the greatest risk of becoming homeless, but that veterans from more recent wars and conflicts are also affected. Veterans returning from deployments in Afghanistan and Iraq often face invisible wounds of war, including traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder, both of which correlate with homelessness. So it really is all tied together, right? Veterans experiencing mental health problems is not in a separate vacuum from homelessness. But I guess in general, I'd love to know your thoughts on any and all of this, right? Whether it be with Mia Khalifa and her specific comments and that specific backlash, or on the larger discussions about the problems that veterans face here in the US.